Amanda, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we're recording.
All right. I'll go ahead and call to order the Greenwood Redevelopment Commission on this, the 9th day of February of 2021. May I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Hoover?
Here.
Mr. Hopper?
Here.
Mr. Harris?
Present.
Mr. Campbell?
Here.
Mr. Moan?
Mr. Moan will be absent.
And non-voting advisor, Mr. Alexander?
Present.
Thank you.
All right, we have a quorum. Is there a motion to approve our minutes from our regular meeting from January 12th?
So moved.
I'll second that.
Motion by Mr. Hoover, second by Mr. Harris. Any discussion or corrections or anything that anybody saw? All right, hearing none. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, nay. Minutes are approved 4-0. Is there a motion to approve our minutes from our executive session on January 28th?
I'll move for that.
Motion by Mr. Harris.
No, second that.
Second by Mr. Hoover. Thank you, sir. Any discussion on these very lengthy minutes? All of one sentence, basically. Questions? All right. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, nay. All right. Minutes from our executive session on January 28th are approved 4-0. I guess I'll ask a question while we're there, while we're here, since we just approved those minutes. Are we going to see that presentation publicly? When is that one coming? Kevin, anybody? Steinmetz, sorry.
We're still trading quite a few drafts. We're making a lot of progress. It's just a couple different agreements. Adam, I would assume our goal on timing is as an outside date, no later than your March meeting, right? But if we can get it together and things fall into place, perhaps a special session in between. Adam, is that your
yeah, that's exactly right, Kevin. Yeah, and we originally were planning to present at today's session, but we're still working through some of those items. And so right now, we're looking at best case scenario, trying to call a special meeting towards the middle or end of this month in preparation of your March meeting. But once we get through the final project agreement negotiations, and that's in more final form, I believe we'll ultimately, I believe the proper channel, Amanda in legal department would send out an email requesting that. So that's the current plan.
Okay, sounds good. Appreciate it. All right, new business resolution 2021-01, a resolution approving an application for property tax deductions for certain real property located within the East Side Economic Development Area, the Shear GW5 LLC, 703 North Graham Road.
Thank you. You have in your packet the application for your Shear GW5 LLC. That's part of the Peterson Group, who's in quite a bit of the construction out on the east side. This is for a speculative building of about 69,700 square feet. The real estate investment is going to be $978,000. The improvement investment will be just under $7,700,000 for the real estate itself. Like I said, it would be a speculative building. The company will have agreed to $19.50 minimum wage in the building, and they will also, because it's a speculative building, will not have the number of jobs. It will indicate the salary they hope to have in the building is the average wage. So we're here. All the abatement savings will be passed on to the tenant. I'm anxious to take any questions that anyone on the board may have. This is obviously the size of building that, at least from the economic development standpoint, tends to bring higher paid wages to our community. And we're certainly anxious to get this building started. The location, as you can see, is on the east side of Graham Road. The Shear 2 and 3 are on the west side on the just north of Main Street on the right side, on the east side of the street. So if there's any questions, again, I'd be happy to take those.
Pat,
Yes.
my normal question is, are you able to provide a firm commitment on start and completion date?
Yes, Stephen, for the record, the start date would be October of 2021, and the completion date, we're going to amend the SB1 that we've submitted to Amanda in talking to Larry, and he's on the call. We had March of 2022. His concern is getting the asphalt down by that time, so we would ask that that be pushed out to June of 2022. And that would be our commitment.
All right. Any more questions for Pat? All right, hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Campbell. Is there a second?
I'll second.
I heard Mr. Harris first.
That's fine.
You can get the next one, Mr. Hoover.
I'll keep us rolling.
Any discussion? Yeah, any discussion from commission members? All right, hearing none. All those in favor, aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. All right, resolution 2021-01 is approved 4-0.
Thank you. Look forward to starting the project.
That's good. Thanks, Pat.
Thank you.
Moving on to 523 South Madison Avenue, engagement letter and addendum with LWG CPA's advisors, financial advisors for developer and central TIF bonds.
Yeah, Adam and I will take this one. We, as we've outlined to you all over the past few months, and indeed, as imagined, as part of the redevelopment of that parcel, we'll have some bonds issued, and so we recommend that the Redevelopment Commission approve this professional service contract with London Woody, who's done our bonds both for the commission and utilities and general government for last couple of years. And Adam, correct me, the one point of clarification is that they would only be paid upon closing. Essentially, it would be paid at closing and wrapped into it. So it would be contingent upon the bond being successfully issued.
Yeah, and I would just add that there are technically two bonds being associated with that project. So I believe this intends to cover both of those items.
Okay, so I've got two that look identical to me, just looking them over. So are these in duplicate, or is one for each bond? I guess
one for each is my understanding, Greg.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's technically the central TIF bonds, and then there's the developer purchase bonds. So my understanding is they've prepared essentially similar scopes of work. They're just two separate scopes. Each one will be independently billed upon that closing.
So then
the only difference you'll see is, I believe, in the subject line, it does say developer and it says central TIF of their letter. Unless I mistakenly printed the same one twice.
you may have, it just says engagement letter for municipal advisory services is the subject line.
I will double check that. If I need to, I'll run it down to you.
All right.
Are the fees? I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. They are different. I see in the first paragraph, the one references central expansion allocation area bonds, and the other one is proposed development bonds. So they are different.
And are these 25,000 a piece or 25,000 total?
My understanding is
like
that they're 25,000 a piece, which is standard, if not perhaps slightly under what you get, Adam, correct, in the market for an FA on issuances.
Pretty standard. I also I know that this has been a similar proposal they've had in the past. So this has been consistent with prior scopes that specifically London, Whitty, and Taft have prepared to help the city close a bond.
Hey, Adam, that was my next question. This is LWG, London Whitty Group, CPA. Yes, sir. Specifically, the rep we've been using is Jennifer Hudson. She's holds Series 50, firms registered with the SEC. They've closed several bonds with the city. So actually, and they've actually been helping us on some of the project agreement related items really since the executive session. Okay, I thought it was them. I just want to make sure. Thank you. For sure.
All right. Any other questions for Adam or Kevin? All right. Do we need to take each of these individually, or can we do both at the same time, Mr. Watson?
You can do them together if you like.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve both agreements for London Whitty Group?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Hoover. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Campbell. Thank you, sirs. Any further discussion? All right. Hearing none. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, nay. All right. Both agreements are approved 4-0. Next up, engagement letter and addendum with Taft, Stettinius, and Hollister LLP, bond counsel for developer and central TIF bonds.
Correct. Similar, well, exact same kind of situation as last time. To be paid at closing. Two separate engagements, one for the proposed central and one for the proposed developer. And the fee, I believe, again, is in line with what we've had previous bonds in the past, and is competitive.
That's 45,000 for each one then?
Adam, is that correct? Yeah.
I thought I saw 55.
Okay,
55
hold on.
on at least one of them.
I'm double checking right now.
Yeah. I had written 45 for one.
One of them is 45 and the other is 55.
Okay.
It's like the developer bond is 45.
So one of these must be a little more complicated than the other is what they're trying to tell us, huh? At least on paper. Yep.
I was told this was going to be pro bono.
Sam's not with us.
Yeah, Sam's not here, I don't think.
Even better time to make that motion. I think that was very wise by Mr. Harris.
I'm on. Well, thank you.
Oh, hi, Sam.
Oh.
Hi, Dave.
Darn it.
Well, he comes out of the closet now when there's money on the table.
All right. So we've got one for 45,000 and one for 55,000 then. All right. Any questions from commission members? All right. Hearing none, or sorry, is there a motion? Sorry.
I'll move that we approve both of them.
Thank you, Mr. Hoover.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Harris. All right. Now any discussion from anyone? All right. Hearing none, all those in favor, aye.
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 Aye. All those opposed, nay. All right. Motion is approved 4-0. No old business. Capital project report on Old City Park. Contract for goods with business, art, and design.
Yeah, this is very kind of small engagements, $2,142, I believe, for some signage. One would go in front of the lot that we have an agreement with the Baptist Church at Main and Meridian, just to clarify. It's public parking when it's public, but during church events, they, of course, it's exclusive use. And the other is just etiquette signs that we didn't want to pay the contractor's markup on. Quite frankly, the world's changing so fastly. When we first started thinking about Old City Park, the scooters, which are not supposed to be up on the playground equipment, weren't really in vogue then. But At least they are now. So yeah, just some etiquette signs and parking signs for the Old City Park project. Be payable out of the central and east side TIF, which we had more money appropriated than we ended up spending there. So you don't actually have to allocate more funds, but it was out of the central and east.
Is there a motion? How about I make the motion? I'll make the motion. How about that?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Harris. Thank you, sir. Any questions from any commission members?
Does that amount for 2142?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Hearing no further questions. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, no. Motion approved 4-0. Financial report, a TIF or a tax increment update.
Yep, that's me. Good evening, everyone. Just wanted to let you know, obviously we sent out the monthly report. It was for January. So when you look at it, a lot of the revenues were zeroed out, obviously, because we won't get primarily the tax increment revenues until the June installment. Couple things of note, though, in addition to that, is we are starting work on the RDC's 2020 annual report. It's ultimately due to Gateway by April, but historically, the way that's been submitted to the Redevelopment Commission is that a draft has been submitted well before the due date for review, and then ultimately coordination with either the vice president or the secretary to get that filed. So we're working on that. We sent out a copy of the most recent annual report, which is 2019 for reference. Currently, it's drafted to really comply with state statute. If there's anything else that you all would like to include or incorporate from a data perspective, please let us know. And as we're still in the drafting stage, we can get that incorporated for you. Otherwise, once it's drafted, we'll share a draft with you all in preparation of your next meeting. We'll ask for a motion to approve the final report at your March meeting, and then ultimately get that uploaded to the state prior to the April deadline. And then once that is made available through Gateway, it's been the city's historical practice to post that electronically on the website as well. I know over the years that report has been consumed by a lot of stakeholders outside of the city for kind of information on redevelopment commissions and TIF use, specifically here in the area. So that is it. And then earlier in the item, we talked about the likely need for a special meeting of the Redevelopment Commission to continue the presentation and likely introduce the project agreement for 523 Madison project. We'll keep that for now. We won't be able to schedule that, but once we get to that point, you may see an email between now and your next regularly scheduled meeting asking for availability. That's all I have for now.
Thanks, Adam. Any questions for Adam? Okay. Next up, department reports. Legal department, Mr. Hodson.
We have nothing to report.
All right, thank you. RDC, Mr. Watson.
Nothing to report today.
Thank you, sir. City Controller, Mr. Wright.
Nothing from my office.
Thank you, sir. City Engineer, Mr. Johnston.
All right, good afternoon. I've got 3 items for your consideration. I'm going to try to share my screen here. I did have or upload to SharePoint a PDF of my agenda items here. Let's see. Sorry about that. There we go. Share screen.
It's probably a good thing Zoom makes it a little harder to share your screen. We have Teams meeting at work, and just randomly out of nowhere, people will share their screens. And I'm sure they have absolutely no idea what they're doing. And as yet, it has not been embarrassing, but I believe at some point it could become so. Yeah. So.
Unless you have a cat.
Well,
yeah.
All right. Well, looks like it's working here, so fingers crossed. The first item that I have is related to the Main Street and Airport Parkway intersection improvement project. Over the course of the design, we realized that we needed to acquire an easement on the south side of the road. south side of Main Street. So we had the appraisals completed here just recently. There are the values in front of you on the screen, and then the average of the two, $34,600. It's slightly just above a half acre is what we're going to be acquiring. This will be funded with the East Side TIF. And so my request is that the commission approve the list of offerings and authorize the city staff to proceed with the offer, all for the Main Street and Airport Parkway intersection improvement project.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Hoover. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Harris. Any questions for Daniel?
Daniel, who are we acquiring this from?
It is called Val Vista Limited LLC.
So it's the current group? Okay.
Any other questions for Daniel? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, nay. Motion is approved 4-0.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
My second item, this is related to the Johnson County Rail Corridor Safety Improvement Project. About a year ago, the city and the Greenwood Common Council executed a interlocal agreement with Johnson County, City of Franklin, and Town of Whiteland. Johnson County is actually the lead element on this. This is a federally funded safety project through NDOT. So it's a 90%, 10% split in terms of the funding and the cost sharing. The purpose of the project is to improve the at-grade crossings with the Louisville and the Indiana Railroad Company crossings within those respective entities. The improvements occurred last summer. You may recall a time that the Main Street crossing was actually closed while they were performing those improvements. On the map, sorry, it's kind of small there. You can see the locations that had the improvements. The orange dots, particularly going from north to south. Meridian received an upgrade. Academy Street was actually closed. Broadway and Main Street were both improved. The two green dots, Stop 18 and Worsville Road, already have upgraded safety equipment, so those were not part of this project. And then the last one was Pushville Road. So those four orange dots were the crossings that received the improvements. Greenwood's local share of the cost, and just kind of a typo on that, it's also the design cost as well, design and construction costs in that number, the $90,864.79. That is our share, Greenwood's share, that we received an invoice from Johnson County. Those funds would be paid for from the central TIF, since those locations are all within the central TIF. And so my request was that the commission would approve the use of central TIF for payment of the city's local share amount of the interlocal agreement for the Johnson County Rail Corridor Safety Improvement Project, and authorize the city staff to proceed with the payment.
All right. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Campbell. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Hoover. Any questions for Daniel? All right. Hearing none, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, nay. All right. Motion is approved 4-0.
Thank you on that one. And then moving on to my last item. Typically, when the cities has a joint NDOT LPA project, generally about 4 to 6 months in advance of the letting date, NDOT wants the local to commit their local share of the funds. And similar to past projects, today I'm coming before you to request the same consideration on this project, the school zone flasher and pedestrian signal project. We anticipate, all right, let me back up, sorry. This is the project that will have, or that will improve signage and the speed zone flashers at 14 school zones within the city of Greenwood. Each school zone will receive a little bit different treatment. There are kind of unique characteristics at each location. But what we are anticipating is that the construction cost will range anywhere from $350,000 to $450,000. We anticipate the construction inspection estimate will be around $60,000. And so the estimated local portion of the cost is there, the $50,069, covering our share, our 10%. Since this also is a safety related project, our 10% of the construction costs, our 10% of the inspection costs, and there's just an additional 10% contingency on top of that as well. So there is a resolution prepared for signature. And so my request is that the commission approve the commitment of local funds for the school zone flasher pedestrian signal project and authorize RDC officers to execute all documents and enter into all contracts with NDOT and or FHWA or any other party as necessary to implement this project.
Okay. Any questions for Daniel? All right. Is there a motion?
A question, well, Brian.
Yep.
David, is there a which fund is this coming out of?
Oh, sorry, good question. I meant to state that. It's actually going to be based on the location of each school. So we've checked them, and it looks like it's going to be 50% from the central TIF, 25% from the southwest TIF, and then 25% from the east side TIF.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, sorry about that.
No.
All right, any further questions? All right, is there a motion?
I'll motion.
Motion by Mr. Harris. Is there a second?
Second.
I'll second that. Mike got it first.
Yep, I heard Mr. Campbell first. He loves kids more. All right.
Not as much as Brian, though.
Yeah, not as much as Brian. Yep. All right. Any discussion? Right. All right. Hearing none. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, nay. All right. Motion is approved 4-0.
All right. Thank you very much. That's all I have.
Thank you. I will get this signed so we can get it done. Anything from the mayor's office? I saw the mayor. He walked through the council chambers earlier. He didn't say he had anything, so I'm going to assume he does not. Claims docket. Next up. Claims docket for this month is $1,523,140.78. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Campbell. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Hoover. Any questions on this month? Hearing none. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, nay. Claims docket is approved 4-0. Anybody else have anything for us today that didn't already speak their piece? All right. I do have one thing for Amanda. This Cummins agreement you want me to sign here. It looks like it's supposed to be in front of a notary. Do you want to come down and watch me sign it?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Hearing nothing else, we will adjourn at 5 o'clock. Excellent, everyone.
Thank you
very much.
David, if you could hang on a minute,
Mike.
I got to talk to you. And if Linda's still on, I don't know if she is.